Hey everyone, welcome to the Tap It Out podcast. This is Mark Shahada and I'm here with Robert James Smith, creator of FasterEFT. Hey Robert.
Hey Mark, good to see you.
Glad for you to be here with me. And so today I want to talk a little bit about my experience with, I'm a practitioner and I've had, many people, co-practitioners with me go through the trainings, and I've seen the problems that they've had as far as, let's say, we'll talk about Phyllis. Now, Phyllis, she had chemical sensitivity. She was in bed. She was depressed. She wouldn't go out without a mask. And because of FasterEFT, she was able to change all of that and heal herself of these conditions that seem like they're just with you. And she would go to doctors and she couldn't do anything about it. And she couldn't heal herself until she started using the FasterEFT process. And then there's someone like Andrea, who's also a fellow practitioner, and she had severe bodily problems. Yeah. And then there's Heather, who had many conditions. Can you talk a little bit about what Heather had and how she was able to transform her body and her pain?
Heather's story, like Andrea's story, and also like Phyllis's story, they had severe physical illnesses. I mean, they had illnesses that they were diagnosed, from POTS to Lyme disease, from chronic fatigue syndrome, ILME. I mean, the list goes on. One of them were 140 pills a day trying to deal with their daily pain. And this was just a part of their painful life. And several of them said, death was a close wish. If I only could just end this pain. And Phyllis, she found my videos on YouTube. She started working with the videos. She started getting sessions. Andrea, she's 22 years old, 22-year-old little kid, and she's having chronic fatigue. She can't go to college. She's depressed. She's just, her hope was trying to deal with food, try to get the right foods, and hopefully that will work. And it's the same with Heather as well. The list goes on. If you ever really want to see some really amazing transformations in people's lives, this is where you're going to see it, is in these stories. They're all on YouTube as well. And so this is major issues that a lot of modalities are unable to even get close to creating a real physical, emotional shift.
Right. And so can we talk about how FasterEFT starts to turn that around? Like a little bit more specific on the process of how someone who has these problems, how can they turn their life around and start to heal themselves?
Well, let's kind of look at the idea of why we're sick first. Why is somebody severely ill? All right, so the model thinking is how the mind works. The mind is a recording machine. It picks up belief systems, value systems, emotional experiences, and what the brain will do is it'll capture it and organize it. It'll organize it in the mind and the body. The mind will make it real in the body. What I've noticed when I work with people with severe physical, emotional issues and illnesses, it's driven by the unconscious, the brain. Which what it does, how we work is like, Mark, somebody comes to you and hits you over the head with a banana, and you felt embarrassed and it hurt, and then from that point forward, you may not like bananas. Or
the banana hurt me?
And the banana really hurt.
Okay.
Boom. And then you're embarrassed and humiliated in front of everybody. So now you have this total anger towards bananas.
Okay.
Not only that, but you also start walking in a way that you're paranoid that someone else is going to hit you from behind again.
With bananas.
Yeah. Captures this memory, and it starts making the body gear up, prepare itself for another hit. All right. Now, what we've done in our life, and the number one coping skill in the world when we're dealing with pain, physical pain, emotional pain, is when it happens, we hold the memory, because we hold the memory so that it won't happen again, and we keep it handy. And that means the brain will take this experience and it'll hold it in itself. Now, the brain, the mind, and the body are one. They work as one. The brain is the culprit. It holds the references and makes the body respond. So if you have experiences and you don't know how to dissipate the emotions and dissipate how you captured it, the brain will hold it in the body. Right. Now, over time, if you've had a lot of physical, emotional traumas and abuses, the body is still carrying the pain and expressing the pain that the mind captured. Now, the body, you have to understand too, the body is a servant to the mind. It's not the culprit. It's just the follower of the mind. And when we go in and we have someone with severe physical illness, we talk about, say, for example, Heather McKee. Now, she came up, I pulled her up, I worked with 45 minutes. We went from a 0 to 10. Her pain was a 9, I think, or 7, 8, 9. And by the time I got done, it was almost completely gone. Now, this is a lifetime of pain, but we weren't talking to the conscious mind. We're talking to the unconscious who holds memories. And the problem with Heather, like a lot of other people, you and I, we've had experiences, hurts, and pains, and we don't know how to dissipate the emotions. We don't know how to dissipate the physical and the auditory and the kinesthetic sensations. So the mind holds that, and over time, there's an accumulation of these experiences, and then illness is an expression of whatever is held. It kind of reminds me of this guy who came to see me, and he had no arm. He lost it in an accident. But yet he's taken these medications from the doctor to deal with the pain that in the arm that isn't there. Now, this is real pain. He feels it in his body or in the arm that actually isn't there. Mm-hmm. All right. So what the mind does, it captures pain, organizes pain, and repeats the pain throughout life unless you go and change the mind pain, and we call it brain pain. And he came in. Now, this is, his pain level from 0 to 10. It was a 9. Real physical pain in something that doesn't exist. And I went to the memory of the accident, and we changed the memory of the accident and how it happened and what he felt about it, and also the shame and anger, hurt and anger and all these experiences afterwards. After one session, 1 2-hour session, the pain was completely gone in the arm that wasn't there. Right. Because there is what you call, the brain has this great ability to hold on to pain, hold on to pains, and keep accumulating and building, because you have to understand, the purpose of pain is to keep you safe. The purpose of pain is to keep you alive. And have you ever noticed, like when you had an assignment due, or you had to speak publicly at school, or you had some big thing that you need to address and you got really sick?
You got sick, yeah.
And that's because the pain is a waving red flag trying to keep you safe. And unfortunately, if you have a lot of pains, a lot of traumas in your mind and your body, will begin to cry. So I say that pains in the body is emotional crying of memories unchanged or not rewritten. So you must learn how to change this. Now this is real pain. Chemically, it is produced in the mind. You do feel it. But when you change the mind, the brain pain, the pain disappears physically as well.
Right. So let's say I have a fear of public speaking, and I let's say I was 12 years old and I spoke up in class, and the teacher made fun of me and humiliated me. Mm-hmm. And I look around, I see all my classmates laughing at me. Mm-hmm. And so, are you saying that there's a coping mechanism that kicks in that wants to protect me from ever speaking up again? Because if I speak up again, I'm going to be humiliated.
Exactly.
And there's lots of ways that I will be. I could protect myself from that, and pain is one of them. Pain is one way. Maybe I'll get sick and I'll have something that will keep me from speaking up. But there's also other ways that, depending on how I do it, there's other ways that I can keep myself safe from speaking up in public. And pain is just one of them. Is that correct?
Yeah, pain, panic attacks, fears, phobias, traumas. I mean, again, you have to understand that the brain's purpose of pain is for survival.
Right.
It's trying to keep you alive. It's trying to keep you safe. It's trying to keep you in alignment with whatever it is that you're holding and the belief structure that's behind it. Knowing how to dismantle the programming in the mind is the real art in which I teach, how to go in and rewrite your brain. The neuroplasticity of the mind is a really amazing skill, but knowing how to do it, and once you change the brain pain, the brain trauma, the brain hurt, or whatever it is that you hold, as you do that, there's oftentimes what you call a ripple effect. That means you'll see changes in other areas you didn't even address, because how the brain stored these memories, they were linked together somehow. So the weird thing is, like a woman, I was in Ireland, and I was, I don't remember what kind of seminar it was, and she's asking a question about something, and I hand her the microphone, and she asked her question. I got the microphone back, and it was soaking wet. I said, "Do you have public speaking fear?" She said, "Oh, yes, I do." And the weird thing is, you know what she does for a living? She's a radio personality on the radio. But as I started looking at this, and I pulled her up front, and I started addressing and started asking questions to get the strategy of how her brain created the fear of public speaking, which the bizarre thing is, had nothing to do with speaking at all. It had to do with an experience that she was at her grandmother's house, and she was out playing and with some boys, and she came home, and the grandmother and mother suspected foul play, so she had to remove her clothes and inspected her parts of her body. Now here it is, the feeling of being inspected, evaluated, and it created a fear of public speaking. It had nothing to do with public speaking, just being the center of attention. And so the bizarreness of the mind has this ability to capture and to express in weird ways. Right. And knowing how to go in and adjust those is the real beauty in the art of personal change.
Okay. So anyone out there who's experiencing pain, what can they do to learn more about FasterEFT and learn more about your teachings on how to heal that pain?
I think the most important thing, is I have FasterEFT.com. I have a 7-day free course. Take the free course, get an understanding of how your mind works. My personal opinion is invest in the level 1 online course, which is you can change yourself. And it shows you how your mind works. It gives you exercises, it walks you through, practice the skills, learn how to change your own mind. Physical pain is an interesting, I'd call it an interesting animal. It's an interesting process that our brain is trying to keep us safe. We have memories attached to people, parents, loved ones, and we have a tendency to mirror and act from that. But the most important thing is learn how to change your mind. The weird thing is you'll notice that you'll find big major resistance change in memory, because it is the memories that our brain uses that keeps us in the pain. And it's also trying to keep us safe based on the memories it holds. So you can change your body, you can change your health, you can change your relationships by merely learning how to change yourself.
And practitioners in FasterEFT, we're also trained to be able to deal with that resistance. Like if a client has resistance, we know how to work around that. And yes, okay.
Yeah, well, see, the nice thing is, of course, you're a practitioner. What we do in our eutaptics training is we teach you the structure of problems, how problems are created. We show you how to go in and rewrite the story inside your mind. We show you how to get your unconscious strategy and how your brain is creating the pain or the emotional, physical issue. And once you change the resources, the references, the proofs, and the ideologies around it, your body naturally follows. And it always follows the mind. So if you think of a happy thought, as you start thinking a happy thought, your body feels happy. You think of a negative thought, you start to think of it, you start to feel negative. So this is the structure of pain. This is the structure of all problems, basically. Learn how to change your mind, you change your life. So,
well, I think this is awesome because lots of times people just separate pain from the mind, and you're there to show that there's a direct connection, and how the body responds to what we hold inside. So I think it's so helpful for anyone who wants to, who have maybe chronic illnesses or chronic conditions in their body that they can work on. So it's FasterEFT.com.
Yeah, FasterEFT.
Okay.
There's a lot to this, the pain stuff. There's so much information I have about pain, but there is hope. There's big hope, and not only that, your life, like several of the people who shared their personal transformation from pain to no pain, they're actually living a life they never ever had before, way beyond they've ever had before they were sick, and that's because they have real personal power. So, if I were to say anything to your friends or my friends or people watching this video, learn how to like you, learn how to love you, learn how to be kind within you, because it's what you do inside yourself you're going to do to other people. It's what you do inside yourself that hurts yourself or blesses you. So learn how to be nice within yourself. And as you do that, your world gets better.
Okay, I love it. Well, thank you so much, Robert. It's great to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. I enjoyed this.
All right.
Peace.
Peace.